Coach Pruitt's Monday press conference. Coach will make an opening statement, and then we'll take questions. Please hit the raise your hand function. Coach?
Going back and looking at the Vanderbilt game, I thought offensively we created some explosive plays that really helped during the game. Done a pretty good job protecting the quarterback early in the game. I felt like as the game went, there's a couple of plays there that we didn't do as good a job. We had a turnover there in the red area, and then had a turnover there about the 45-yard line. We really got to eliminate those plays. Both of them came from protection, not bust or anything. Just got to be better technical there and get the ball out of her hand. I thought we ran the ball well. I liked the way that Ty and Eric and Jabari and D. Beckwith all ran the football. The wide receivers created explosive plays there. I thought Cooper Mays, again, continues to improve up front. Jerome Carvin played really well. Glad to see that he's back in there competing and getting a chance to play. Defensively, there was gave up. First of all, we were much better on third down. So it's far and away the best game that we've played on third down in a long time. The one drive in the first half, we let them convert a 3rd and 10. They checked. We probably should have checked there to a different call. We didn't. They get a first down and then converted a couple, and then just didn't get the middle of the field. We got it, but didn't get it properly there and gave up a touchdown. And then they made a good throw and catch there on Alante, end up getting a field goal. But, I thought we affected the quarterback, obviously scored on defense. Bryce Thompson, I think, is the co-defensive player of the week this week in the SEC. He only played on third down, but he made a big play in the game that kind of got us jump started there on defense. And if you look at special teams, Paxton Brooks really continues to execute very well in the punting game. He's done a nice job on kickoffs all year. And then I thought Toby came in and done a really good job. We just asked him to kick PATs, but he done a nice job. One thing to me just disappointing in the game, it's probably the first game that we've had penalties. I think we had 9 penalties, and they were during the play. Got to make good judgment and finish people off the right way. So, but thought it was a good effort by our guys. I thought our coaching staff done a nice job getting the guys prepared. Our kids continue to play hard. Looking at this week, it's the last game for this season in Neyland. We have a lot of seniors that this will be their last time and get an opportunity to play against one of the best teams in the country. Texas A&M's having a really good year. They've got an experienced team, experienced quarterback that's playing really well. Their offensive line's one of the best in the conference. They're doing a really nice job protecting the quarterback, creating explosive plays. They've been very efficient on third down. I think they've ran the ball as well as anybody in our league. I've got really good running backs defensively, playing really good team defense, keeping the ball in front of them, not giving up a lot of explosive plays, creating negative plays, give you a lot of different looks. And then they got really good weapons in special teams. So we got a great opportunity on Saturday. I know our guys are looking forward to it. It's kind of like bowl practice this week. We don't have school. So, we'll get a lot of opportunity to get prepared for this game. And I know our guys are excited about it.
Questions? We'll start with Austin Price, then David Owen.
Coach, you talk about the seniors and it being senior day and stuff. How will they handle that, or how will you ask those guys to handle it? Because obviously a lot of those guys will have the option to come back for another year.
Well, I think there may be some guys that may participate and some guys that may not. I don't know. It's not something we've really been focused on improving as a team every single day. When you talk about this kind of unique circumstance we have with guys getting their eligibility back where they could play another year, we've kind of treated it like it would be a junior that may be thinking about declaring for the draft. We're just going to wait till the season's over with. So We'll have some guys participate and some won't. It'll be their choice.
Yeah, Jeremy, do you playing two quarterbacks? Is that something that you're still trying to kind of find a guy, or are you fine with playing two quarterbacks, kind of, for an extended period of time? Whether that's into 2021 or the rest of the season into the bowl game. How do you view that spot?
Yeah, no, I really think you'd rather just play one, right? But we got two guys right now that I think are really competing hard in practice. In JT and Harrison, and we're giving them the same amount of reps. I've told both of them we're going to look at these last three games and just give them the same opportunity. I mentioned before we played Florida that JT kind of, his shoulder was bothering him a little bit, which is, he was kind of a game day decision that day, but he felt like he could play. So we got him in there and he played really well. And I thought he played good Saturday too. He had a couple of drops, obviously made one mistake there that we need to eliminate, but I thought both guys operated and played pretty well. They're going to continue to improve and we're going to play both of them. I think it's the way this season is, it's a great opportunity to know what we got. Just, because of the circumstances early in the season and not having a lot of scrimmage time, this is a great opportunity for these guys to really get a chance to go out there in live game action and see how they're going to do. And I think both of them continue to improve every week.
Vince Farrar, then Dan Harrelson.
Jeremy, just to follow up on that quarterback competition you were talking about and splitting those reps, how big of a difference is it when quarterbacks in practice during a game week don't get a majority of the reps and they're having to split the reps? How much could that potentially be a factor in not preparing them as much, especially when both of those guys are pretty inexperienced?
Well, I think it's if you're going to practice more than one quarterback, right? So you're always going to practice two. The guy that gets left out is the third guy, most of the time. So first and second team reps are probably usually pretty equally split. And these guys are going with each group. So they're getting kind of the same opportunity. So I don't think there's an issue with that.
Dan?
Coach, last year down the stretch, you did play two quarterbacks, and they really fed off each other last year, and you guys were able to win some ball games. Do you kind of get that sense right now playing both JT and Harrison that they're kind of feeding off each other and just putting each other in good positions to win and compete in games?
Yeah, well, I think both of them are really good teammates. And you throw Brian in there. Brian, we trying to create a little bit of role for him. And he made a really good run down there and he kind of turned his ankle a little bit. So, but just with the quarterback room, on Saturday, I thought Jarrett done a heck of a job kind of on the sideline with Coach Winky and helping those guys. I really like the way that room is. These younger guys are getting opportunities and they're trying to make the most of it. It's, and hey, they probably make mistakes that a lot of people don't see, but they're learning from it. They're gaining confidence. The game is going to slow down for them the more they play. So it's good to see both of these guys get a chance to go out there and improve each week.
We'll go to Blake and then Brent.
Jeremy, entering this final game of the regular season, have you received any assurances from Philip Fulmer that you'll be back next year?
You know what? We've been focusing on our every day at practice, the teams that we're playing. All of that stuff is always at the end of the season. So we've just been working hard to be the best that we can possibly be.
Are you, with Auburn making a decision on Gus Malzahn yesterday, are you surprised to see three coaches in the SEC be fired this year in a year played in a pandemic?
Well, it's unusual circumstances, right? And nobody knows the circumstances around each individual job. I got a lot of respect for all three of those men, and coaching against them, getting to know them. While I've coached in this league, I think they've done a phenomenal job at the places that they've been. So it's really the rough part on this when there's a coaching change, whether it's somebody leaving or somebody getting another opportunity. The people that suffer are the student athletes, because you build the relationships, recruiting them to come to a certain school. I mean, I've had it both ways, right? We've been fired before, and we've got opportunities before, right? And so the worst part of it is, in either scenario, is the people that you have created these relationships with and built a bond with to recruit them to come to a certain school. That's the people that suffer in all this.
Brent.
Coach, a couple of things. One, what's an update on Cade Mays' status as you go into this last game? Two, big picture, when you mentioned Saturday after the game, the opportunity to get to play a lot of younger players and kind of get a look at them. What was your assessment of some of those young players when you looked at the tape in terms of, some of those guys getting their real first action? What is your takeaway with those young guys?
Well, I think if you just go through the defense there, I mean, Amari Thomas continues to play more and more snaps each game. Tyler Barron has played a lot throughout the season and continues to improve. Tamarion McDonald's a guy that we've started playing in the last couple of weeks. They didn't have hardly any practice leading up until about halfway through the season. So, I think those guys have done a really nice job. Keyshawn Lawrence played a little more Saturday. All these guys these guys and more have played on special teams. Nico Slaughter, Morven Joseph continues to show flashes. Had a couple of quarterback pressures on Saturday. Offensively, Cooper has played the last 2 weeks at center some. The wide receivers, whether it's Jimmy Callaway or Jalen Hyde or Jimmy Holiday, who couldn't make the trip Saturday. These guys continue to improve. Malachi Weidman. I thought Saturday, probably for the first time, he's played the last 2 weeks on special teams, but D. Beckwith got to touch the football, so you kind of see a little bit about, what kind of ability he's got. I know it's late in the game, but still. And Jabari Smalls is a guy that I felt like all year, has made people miss and done a really nice job. And then you throw in Harrison, but a lot of these freshmen, there's many, many more, that in this signing class that have potential to be really good football players. And it's I'm kind of excited about the off season when we get started on that, or maybe if we do go to a bowl, the opportunity to work some of these guys to get back, like we were having these extra periods, opportunity periods. So, we really have a young football team. I think there's probably like 50 freshmen and sophomores on our team that really, most of them have just experienced 2 days of spring ball. So there's a lot of development, a lot of growth for these guys that they're going to have an opportunity to really improve this off season.
And then about Cade, status on Cade?
I think Cade will be day to day.
All right, Trey Wallace and Patrick Brown.
Hey, Jeremy, y'all, it looked like tried to run a trick play around the 6:33 mark in the third quarter. Harrison Bailey was in at quarterback, and then JT Shroud had come in for that one play. What was kind of the reasoning behind that, and what were you trying to establish on that play?
Well, that was one of the plays that, I like to put in 1 or 2 plays a week, right? So, I actually put in 2 this week, and neither one of them worked. Ran a reverse to Kenny Solomon. Kenny Solomon's probably the fastest guy on our team. Probably, if we'd have got one block out there, we'd have gained 9 or 10 yards, but we only gained 1, I think. And then we put a reverse pass in there, getting in Wildcat. We've jumped in Wildcat a couple of times, and we've never thrown a pass out of it. So just something, they just happened to bring field pressure. So we didn't get it off and took a sack. So that was my fault, because I put the play in and I told Jim to run it at that time. So I thought it might work, but it didn't.
Was that play for JT Shroud, I guess, is what I'm asking?
Well, no, it was really for Brian Maurer. You know, it was really for Brian, but he was hurt, so JT ran it.
Patrick.
Jeremy, you mentioned Tamarian a minute ago. What went into the decision to start him at safety, and kind of how do you think he and Jalen McCullough played on Saturday?
Well, Jalen played his best game of the year, you know, so that was good to see. Jalen has really been fighting a foot injury since the Missouri game. You know, he missed all of fall camp and just got released today. We played South Carolina, so you know, he's just been battling this all year. But it was good to see him. He played well. Tamarian has been playing some in third down during the games in our dime rabbit package. So, and playing on special teams. So we really like the combination of both of those guys, and you know, feel like they both have a chance to be really good players for us.
We'll go to Gustavo.
Coach, you said there's this Saturday is going to be a great opportunity to play, and Texas A&M is involved in the college football playoff run. Does this affect you guys? You know, this game seemed like a playoff game, especially for Texas A&M. Does this affect you guys in some sort of way, especially psychologically?
Well, I don't think it's going to affect us psychologically. I think we're playing against a good football team that's very well coached, and it's a great opportunity. You know, we played against a bunch of good football teams this year. So it's the last game in Neyland. I know our kids are excited about playing at home again. So, you know, it's a great opportunity.
Back to Brent Hubbs.
Coach, you mentioned Texas A&M's ability to run the football. Your defense has been good against the run the last 2 weeks. What does A&M do well running the football? Is it a schematic thing, or what do you really like about their run game, and what's the challenge for your front seven against their rushing attack?
Well, to start, their quarterback is very athletic. He's probably not ran it as much this year as I've seen him run it in the past, but he's a guy that's obviously a threat with his feet. They've got really big backs. They don't go down easy. They're big up front. They have a lot of experience. They have one of the best tight ends in the conference, whether it's playing in the run game or the throw game. He's a really talented young man. They play multiple backs. They wear on teams as the game goes, and they're committed to being a physical football team.
Go back to Blake, then Patrick.
Jeremy, you'd mentioned D. Beckwith. What do you feel like his future is for you in this program? And do you like what he brings at running back? Could he be someone you look to move around more in the offseason?
No, I like him at running back. It's you know, when we recruited him, we didn't know exactly where we would play him. We just knew we wanted him on our team. This guy has a lot of versatility. You know, we started him off at wide receiver, but, you know, when he got here, he was a lot bigger than he was when we signed him. So he's a guy that continues to grow and develop, and but he's really good with the ball in his hand. So just putting him back there at running back and trying to create a home for him, I think, has been really good for him. And I know Coach Graham is excited about him and some of the other younger backs. So, you know, I feel like that's where he'll be.
Jeremy, you touched on this before with Bryce. He's kind of lined up at safety and lined up inside and in your dime package on third down. Do you think that maybe is a position you guys might be looking at more, I don't want to say permanently, but maybe moving him inside more on a more regular basis next season, or do you want to keep him outside?
No, I just think he's a guy that can play multiple spots. You know, you would like to sign guys that can play multiple spots. It's easier to create depth and keep your best players on the field. So Bryce is a guy that can do that.
Other questions? All right. Thank y'all very much.